And as we just heard, the January 6th hearings had national security impact. For more on this, we spoke with former Homeland Security Secretary Jeh Johnson in an exclusive interview. He was also general counsel to the Defense Department under the Obama administration. Johnson discussed the weight of the January 6th testimony, former President Trump's role in the riot, and the possibility of a Justice Department criminal charge. As a former Secretary of Homeland Security with oversight of the Secret Service, when you heard testimony that agents with Vice President Pence feared for their lives, what was your assessment of the threat?
I don't think I've ever witnessed, heard of in contemporary times or even over the course of history, a situation where line Secret Service agents, members of protection details, feared for their own lives and began phoning or radioing, communicate with my family. I may not see them. That was precedented, I believe.
We heard testimony from the former Deputy National Security Advisor, Matt Pottinger, who said he believed that U.S. national security was harmed on January 6th. Do you share that assessment? During
presidential transitions, from one president to another, from Election Day to January 20, can be a vulnerable time for national security when our adversaries may seek to take advantage of the situation where the outgoing administration perhaps has its eye off the ball and the incoming administration is not in power yet. And in the eyes of our friends and adversaries, seeing an insurrection on the U.S. Capitol made them question, I am sure, how enduring, how strong, and how stable our democracy really is. We have historically boasted that we are the most enduring democracy in the world and that we always have peaceful transitions of power. Regrettably, we cannot say that anymore.
Based on the testimony, there's a picture painted of the White House as a place of extreme dysfunction. Based on that testimony, does it suggest that during this presidential transition, there was also a threat to the continuity of government?
Very much so, Catherine, for several reasons. He systematically got rid of all of the Senate-confirmed cabinet-level officials in national security. So on January 6, 2021, you had an acting Attorney General, an acting Secretary of Defense, and an acting Secretary of Homeland Security who were basically heading for the exits in 2 weeks. And it contributed to the chaotic situation that we had where our government was not more proactive in doing what they needed to do to protect the perimeter of the U.S. Capitol.
Based as a former prosecutor, did you hear evidence Thursday that suggested to you that President Trump crossed the line into criminal activity?
Yes, frankly. There's a statute in the federal criminal code that criminalizes an insurrection. This was, in my judgment, the very definition of an insurrection. And the statute in federal law punishes those who engage in the insurrection, who incite the insurrection, and who give aid and comfort thereto. It is difficult for me to see how President Trump, given all the evidence we know about, is not within that criminal statute. And I suspect that an aggressive federal prosecutor would regard this as a prosecutable, indictable case.
At a press event this week, Attorney General Merrick Garland said twice, no person is above the law. What do you believe the Attorney General was telegraphing?
Hard to know. I don't know Judge Garland very well. Hard to know. The Fulton County DA in Georgia seems to be very active and moving very forcefully in building a case, perhaps against Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani, and others. And so we may end up in a situation where a prosecutor in Georgia has indicted Donald Trump and the U.S. Department of Justice has not, which will put even more pressure on the Attorney General.